Okay, so did Contingency contract really save Arknights Endfield? That is what I'm going to be talking about today in this video. So as you guys know, CC or Contingency contract is an endgame that everyone has been talking about in the community. And there are some disappointment that it got delayed. Okay, not really delayed. It was like placed in the middle of the patch, which is like really weird. And like it didn't like capture the hype when like 1.3 and Mifu started. It's like 1 week before Camille banner comes, so it's a bit late. There are some theory that says that Contingency contract was gonna come in like 1.4, but then they push it early because everyone was complaining that there's nothing to do. Me personally, I think the game should have come even earlier, like maybe in like 1.2, in like the second half or Zhongfeng Yi banner. They could have put it even earlier, and it probably would have had like even better results. Probably would have helped like Enfield retain more players instead. But back to the game mode itself, I'm gonna provide a brief overview in case you don't know. It's basically like you get to choose your own difficulty, your own risk, and then you just run. And the higher the number of risks, the better it is. That's the game mode. So I've been playing the game mode for like the past like few days when it came out, which is like I don't know 2 or 3 days. And currently I managed to reach all the way to 41 risk with the Epic, Estella, and Wolfguard combustion team. I know that's like cheese, but like, you know, some cheese are really good cheese. Not all cheese are bad cheese. So 41 out of like 47, I think that's pretty okay. Pretty good for me at least. So after all that, does CC really accomplish its goal as an Enfield endgame? Like real endgame other than Umbrella Monument, I guess. Well, I think the game mode is really good for all the hardcore players, the dedicated players. I think the game really doesn't solve like Enfield's current biggest problem yet, which is losing the casual players' attention. But before we get into that, what did CC needed to accomplish? Well, I would say CC really just had one major job, which is to provide replayability to the game. I think the game mode really did a good job in solving that. If you look at all the Enfield creator, all of the Enfield players now, they all have a reason to play Enfield again after completing all the stories and factory and daily quests and whatnot. They say that the devs kind of like underestimated how much content people can like clear. A lot of Enfield's content were like in the base game. Valley 4, you know, the whole Valley 4 quest was kind of long. But that was like a long time ago already. That was like, I don't know, half a year, 6 months ago. Now most people are already done with it. There's not a whole lot to do other than like spamming the same Umbrella Monument or doing dailies. But let's be real, doing dailies barely count as playing a game. It's more like doing a chore to get your daily currency pull. So Contingency contract is finally like a real game. I know Umbrella Monument and maybe like weekly boss speed run is a thing, but that's kind of like a self-imposed challenge. CC is also a self-imposed challenge, but there is like a reward to it. Like you get a higher number, which you can show to other people that how high of a number you can reach. So in that regard, I think CC absolutely succeeded in its job of like providing replayability to the dedicated Enfield players. So why does this work? Why was the game mode good? For one, this might be obvious, but the risk system, creates replayability. People can choose their own risk. Important ones are like the dodge one. You can play with no dodge or like half stamina regen. There's a big divide with this. I play mostly with the dodge enabled. I am not that skilled yet to play without dodge, but you know, some people kind of like hate this risk. They think this difficulty is kind of like lazy, a bit too simple, but I think it's okay. There are already like some people playing successfully without dodge, but like not a lot of people do that. And I think one more thing that Contingency contract really successfully do is that it made more characters relevant. And the elephant in the room is Estella. Before this game mode, I don't think anyone plays Estella at all. They might have built her for like A-Lash or something, or like a pseudo cryo physical team. But now all of a sudden, everyone and their mother is playing Estella now. Some people say it's cheese, it doesn't count as actually winning, but I don't know. Estella is a 4-star character in the game, and you know, by playing Estella, you're basically putting yourself in a handicap. You're playing a 4-star character as your main driver. That should be even more impressive than like playing like Zhongfeng Yi or Mifu as your main character. So CC is a lot different than like the typical endgame like Umbrella Monument or Spiral Abyss where you just use the latest team of Zhongfeng Yi, Mifu, the latest banner, whatever. Sometimes the game mode can potentially even reward like some random characters like Estella. And I think that's one really good thing about the game mode. Maybe the next stage of CC could be revolve around Edmund or something. and everyone is forced to like build Enmin. That would be crazy. So is CC a whale check or a skill check? I think it's more of a skill check, but like at like 47 clear, there's not a lot of people doing 47 clear. But most of the 47 clear you see like on Bilibili or for example, it's mostly going to be like P5 Zhangfang Yi or like P5 Mifu. So it does like reward like whaling a bit. Even though potential don't really do much in this game, it does kind of factor in at the highest level of optimization. So my experience with CC is pretty good overall. I'm just slightly disappointed that it's not really like optimal or not really fun to play a team like a Yvonne team or to an extent a Zhongfang Yi team. Because the game mode doesn't have a risk that like dispels the solidification with cryo abilities. So Yvonne is like borderline, a Yvonne cryo team is like borderline unplayable. I think some creators can do it, but like it's gonna take some skills. And I would rather just keep playing Estella and Wolfguard Combustion instead. So that's just one downside is that, you know, Yvonne might not be the strongest in this team, in this game mode. And to an extent, Enmin too, or with Chun, because, you know, this game mode, crowd control, like, lifts the enemy up. Crowd control heals the enemy. I don't know what is the logic behind this, but, like, okay, I guess. And, like, if you play Enmin, or if you play, like, Chun is going to lift all the enemies up forever, and then they're just going to heal forever. So Enmin is also, like, borderline unplayable, too, if you use those risks. Or at least, like, max risk. Max risk would be, like, impossible for, like, physical Enmin. I even heard that, without, like, Mifu grouping, physical team is, like, some people were playing, like, Enmin, but, like, they had to, like, switch to Mifu just for, like, better grouping. So there's that. So not all characters are going to be very good for the game mode. That's one downside. Compared to, like, Umbrella Monument, where you can basically just play anyone and you'll be fine. Most of the boss are pretty open to using any team. So after that, I want to talk about how the potential of CC. Now, I've seen that there's some, like, offline event in Japan located in, like, an esports cafe. They kind of, like, treat it like it's an esport event. And people can, like, show their runs and all that. I think that's pretty good. The game mode has high skill ceiling. Viewers can easily watch it. There's a lot of, like, spectator value. And, like, people can understand the difficulty immediately. You know, you see the number risk at the top left. You can immediately know how hard it is. Even though overall I don't really care about gacha game esports. I think not many people really care about that. But, you know, you can still see, like, you know, fastest clear or highest risk. And, you know, CC could potentially become like an esport if they really cared. The only problem would be like whaling and stuff, but, like, if it's a real esport, it'll probably be like a dedicated account. It probably won't be like a professional esports with, like, real money on the line. It's probably just going to be like an offline event instead. So here's another downside to CC, I guess, which isn't really a downside, just a minor flaw with the current state of the game. Is that CC is amazing for, like, the existing players, the dedicated players, players like you and me who will play this game every day, sort of. But for the casual play, for the biggest problem of the game, the casual players who already left after all the 1.2 drought and all that, the casual players who already, like, quit the game is probably not coming back for CC. Even though we can see, like, a lot of people streaming the game right now, a lot of people are streaming Contingency Contract. I think a lot of those are just dedicated Arknights Endfield fan or Arknights fan. We're not getting Sea-Dog or Giguk back with CC. And CC really doesn't make it better since it's, like, more challenging content and people who already quit are probably not going to be good at the game. So I think the major problem is that CC kind of came a bit late. It should have come, like, a bit earlier when, like, Zhongfang Yi just came out and then people are excited to use Zhongfang Yi. So I think CC kind of messed up the timing a bit. So instead of that, what would actually bring the players back? So first, having CC as an endgame is a good first step just to keep the existing players, just to give people a motivation to play, so that's good. But how can the game really bring the old casual players back again? I think they kind of tried this with, like, showing the 1.4 trailer with IGN. But, like, that's kind of okay, I guess. It didn't really get a whole lot of attention back. I think what they could do is just, you know, drop new characters like Artist Shear or Nefereth. I think story or, like, region isn't really that important. I think region is important, but, like, story, no one really cares that much. I think like teasing a new region would be good. I think people might be, like, tired of, like, Valley 4 and Wuling. Maybe, like, a new region like Planet Cardia or, like, Cyberpunk Night City. I think that's the or like NTE type of city. I think that's kind of like the new trend now. The next world could be something more interesting to bring the players back. So final verdict, I think CC is an absolute banger of an end game mode. Enfield finally has an end game. It's giving a lot of replayability. Everyone and their mother is like streaming the game, which is a really good sign. I just think that it probably could have been done like a bit earlier to save the game. The game mode really rewards players' skill and creativity, but they could probably do even better, especially with Camille coming up. I feel like they could really like boost up their marketing when Camille comes out. I feel like that's in a few days they have one chance to like bring a lot of attention to the game again. That'll be good. On a side note, I think the CC lobby music is good. It's just that the remix, a lot of people complain that the remix when you're like playing inside is a bit goofy and very like nauseating, kind of like nonsense. I feel like they should just let us toggle to keep the lobby music inside the gameplay music. That'll be one way to immediately improve the music part of the game. Other than that, those are my first thoughts on the game mode. Hopefully they got something new coming up, especially with Camille coming in. But like I think contingency contract is not gonna change much until like 20 days or something. So hopefully Camille makes the game super fun. And let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see y'all next time.